So OpenAI announced some pretty big things at their developer conference. I think maybe some of us assumed it would take a few weeks before we saw some cool things being developed using these new tools. Not. But no, it's here now, less than 48 hours later. Let's take a look at the coolest and most mind-blowing things that people are doing with the new OpenAI tools. So here's League of Legends. Take a listen to the commentary.
One turret in their favor against LNG. The vision game around the mid lane is intensifying as LNG's scout cautiously moves forward, potentially looking for a pick or to regain vision control.
That is AI commentary on this game in real time. Here's how it's done.
Script where it's generating commentary for this League game. So basically what it's doing is that it's taking screenshots of the game every 15 seconds, and then it's using the new Vision API to commentate it. So here's the end result.
And will look to extend their lead as the next objective comes up. And here we are in a tension-filled moment. T1 holding a slight gold lead over LNG as the vision game intensifies around the Dragon Pit. T1's positioning is crucial here as they look to establish dominance and secure the next objective. Can LNG find a pick, or will T1 extend their lead? The next move could be pivotal.
So did you catch that? It's taking screenshots every 15 seconds, and then it feeds it into ChatGPT with Vision, and using the same text-to-speech thing that OpenAI announced, it's commentating, providing commentary on what's happening in that screenshot. And then 15 seconds later, it gets an update and continues. Now, I'm assuming there's some sort of a memory where it's not just commenting on one screenshot in isolation, it's somehow putting it together in a narrative, but that's pretty cool. Mr. Nick Dobos jumps in. This would be sick to add casters to my replays, especially on Wild Rift where it automatically makes clips after each game, right? We'll come back to Nick Dobos in a second, but this basically means that you can provide commentary on anything, any game, video game, sporting event, those little dog competitions where the little puppies show off how cute they are with their little bows and whatnot. You can do that in any style, any voice that you want, live.
Look at it.
Here's another example of the same thing applied to
The crowd is
soccer.
roaring. Can you believe this? He's
Football.
taken on the whole defense. He's a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen. He's go Messi, Messi, Messi. Unbelievable. What a
Messi, Messi, Messi.
The stadium explodes in joy. This is football magic at its finest.
So again, GPT-4 Vision with text-to-speech they've released. And this is no edit, so this is exactly just raw how it's coming out from the model. And they link to the GitHub page where you can actually get the code to do this. I'll link it in the description. Next, we have a GPT, one of those custom build GPTs that I guess builds a playlist based on whatever concert you're attending, in this case, Coachella. No sound on this one, but it looks like it makes a playlist, a Spotify playlist with the Coachella 2023 lineup. Browse the web to find Coachella 2023 lineup, then make me a Spotify playlist of highlights from the festival. And then it gives you a link to the Spotify playlist. And here it is. Blink 182. Sam Altman was right. Blink 182 is still killing it. Here's using GPT-4 with Vision to browse the internet.
Let me show you a demo which is going to change the way you think about internet. So I'm here on the medical website and I have a picture of the joint. I'm just going to drag and select the part I'm interested in, and the GPT-4 is going to answer me, what is it? It's hip joint region. And what about this part? What is it? I'm not giving it even any context. It just knows. This is Schrödinger's equation. Let's try this part. What is it? Potential energy term. Is it going to be able to interpret the table and answer me, am I doing any good in business? I have increasing net income.
That's pretty cool. I feel like that's what Google Images promised to be, or Google Lens back in the day, where you take a picture of it and it just tells you kind of what that is. But this guy, Robert Lukoshko, so people that have this E/ACC thing in their Twitter handles, that's effective acceleration. So EAC, I believe they pronounce it. Effective accelerationism basically means they want AI developed with no guardrails, with no regulation, just freaking go for it. So this is sort of the answer to the AI doomers, right? The EAC people. But he did a quick test here. Check this out for you yoga people out there. The people out there, would you like to have AI critique your yoga skills? Of course, how could you not? This guy built a roast my website with the OpenAI APIs, Vision specifically.
Ah, the React website. Is it just me, or does this site whisper, look how minimalist I can be while drowning you in JSX? The go full stack with a framework section. Because why would anyone want to master just one overly complex system when you can be confused at every level of the stack?
I wonder if somebody's going to build like the world's meanest roast my picture friggin' website where you upload your pictures to it and it just like wrecks you, like where it really just It just shreds any sort of self-belief in you that you've had. Would you take that challenge? Would you let it roast you if you knew it was really good? Here's webcam GPT. So you're capturing an image and it's describing all the things that it's seeing in there: man, headphones, glasses, etc. Lightly colored wall. He's holding up a smartphone close to the camera, displaying the time, 17:30 on a lock screen. That's actually a little bit more detailed than I'm comfortable with. Like if it just takes a screenshot, is it's going to start reading all this stuff on your phone, like whatever you're displaying on there. What's interesting is a few months ago, there was a paper where AI you show it any picture. So like this guy's glasses, his eyeballs, it could take that image of the eyeball and recreate a fairly accurate representation of what he's looking at, of the room that he's in, based on the reflection of the eyeball. So it would be able to build like a 3D environment based on just a picture of your face. It zooms in on your eyeball and kind of like is able to extract what you're seeing on there, that curvature of the light, basically that reflection, and rebuild the room that you're looking at. Another one could figure out what passwords you have, what you're typing based on the sound of the keys. Like if it has 5 minutes of audio of you typing on keys, it could figure out exactly what you're typing. So it's getting unreal. So this is going from a sort of like a low fidelity mock-up of, I'm guessing this is a website, into HTML. I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. So you just basically design your website on, I don't use Apple, I'm assuming this is the equivalent of Microsoft Paint or something similar to that, and boom, you have the HTML for it. Here's somebody used the massive 128,000 context window that we have access to now to summarize a massive YouTube video. I think this video is like an hour and 20 minutes.
GPT is here. Let's break it down. This video is how to write.
I like the excitement.
And it has 8 million views. With one click, I can download the transcript. I can go back to ChatGPT. I can pull up the text file, and the text file is just a giant wall of text. You see this? This is an hour and 20 minutes of a lecture. And we're going to hit Control A, Control C, copy everything, go back to ChatGPT, and we are going to type summarize every section of this video, break down every important point, place that entire transcript in here and press enter. Now let's see how this bad boy does. So here's critique of traditional writing, challenges faced by expert writers, interference in reader comprehension, and it's basically going through every single part of the video. But you will be able to create these and release these with all natural language. You will not need to know how to code.
And next we have Nick Dobos. So he is the person that did, when custom instructions came out, he was within hours, he had this thing up where you use the keys WASD to like quickly create these shortcuts to conversate with the ChatGPT, basically allowing you to rapidly develop certain ideas. It was pretty cool. And once again, he's back with, so he's calling it AGI.zip. Let's take a look.
I just got back from OpenAI demo day, and I've been playing around with the new My GPTs feature that they just launched. So this first one is called Baby AGI TXT. If I press this, this one will actually like take what we're talking about and like save it to a text file and keep a list of all of our tasks that we're working on, and will also like help me plan my day. You see, here we go, boom, and here's this whole thing that I have. So yeah, like what do I want to plan my day? I want to finish this demo video and pack for my flight tomorrow. You can see here I actually have like hotkeys defined as well, and you can also check, right, if I look, I can actually download the to-do list, right, and then I just have a little text file here. Boom, here it is. Oh, and here's all the things we're supposed to do to plan. There we go. That's it. And of course, right, because of this text file, I could like come in and like start a new chat and just drop it right back in. So that was like one simple example, just kind of, yeah, the very simplest one. So that was the simple one. Let me show you guys the crazy one. So this one, AGI.zip, is much more intense. Instead of the 4 hotkeys, I have 20 hotkeys, and it's actually backed by an SQL database instead of a text file. So you can actually dynamically add new skills and new hotkeys, and keep long-term memories as well.
I'm very excited about time management plus scheduling plus to-do lists, like all of that, using your own custom GPT wherever you are, whatever thing you have access to. You know, an idea pops in your head, you just add it through a text or through a quick talking to your phone. And then this thing helps you process it later when you're in front of it, and then brings it up at the right time. It has access to your, you know, geolocation, your coordinates. So if you're at the store, it's like, oh, hey, you're at the store, you need this. or whatever. I think the intelligence is the thing that was missing here. The interesting thing here, since you can upload documents, you can have one for like, here are my top level goals. Here's the sort of the structure, the format that I want to be using to organize all these tasks and stuff like that. There's this guy, so his course is Build a Second Brain. I think his name is Tiago Forte. So he popped up on my radar because he was on a podcast I was listening to, and he's saying how his course, he does $1 million plus a year selling this course on building a second brain, which is basically a way to solve information overload to organize your digital life. Now, I'm not 100% sure exactly what goes into this system, but I think it is important to understand that, again, so this course is $500. He's doing $1 million a year, $1 million plus selling this course that has instructional videos, implementation steps, etc. And from what I hear, it's wonderful. My question is, how much better and easier, more effective and efficient can something like this be? I'm just using this system as an example, but I feel like creating your own custom GPT, attaching it to a system like this, if this is your favorite system, the most effective system for you, it seems like it would be just completely supercharged, automated. You would be almost like the CEO of this little database. So you'd jot down the things that were important, click on things that needed to be saved, and then in the background, your GPT would go and execute those. You'll go to the websites that you want to save, get the text, save that text to some internal database. It would go and track all the information. If somebody tweeted something, it would find that tweet and save it and bring it to you when you needed it. Because this whole idea of information overload is a thing. I myself, reading so much about AI, I find myself sometimes, it gets annoying because you have to interact with various news websites and all the pop-ups and the cookies and the this and the that, right? Tons of ads, like, you go to social media and they're trying to get you outraged about whatever the latest thing that you need to be outraged about. I feel like these GPTs can be an answer to all that informational overload, to organizing your life, your digital life, your to-do list, this all-in-one assistant that takes care of that for you. Now, let's take a look at something that Andrej Karpathy said. So he's saying here, with this newly announced GPTs, I think we're seeing a new, still a bit primordial layer of abstraction in computing. We'll get back to that in just a second. There'll be a lot more developers, a lot more GPTs that can read, write, hear, speak, see, paint, think, use existing computing as tools, become experts in focus areas, reference custom data, take actions in the digital world, speak or act in custom ways, and collaborate together. Strap in. So this is an interesting idea. Now, I've heard of these ideas before. So specifically, I'm talking about abstraction, a layer of abstraction. Now, how I'm sort of processing that is right now, and for the last, decades, when we wanted to do something on the computer, we would go and do that. We would take our little mice, right? And we would click on things. We'd use our little fingers on the keyboard to type things in. But more and more now, these AIs will be building this sort of layer of abstraction between us and the internet. So if I wanted to do research on the latest news about X, I can't even say that anymore because now Twitter's X, some random subject that I wanted to learn more about. Let's say AI. Like, let's say I wanted to keep up with AI. Normally, I would check out all my favorite newsletters. I have a newsletter. You should sign up. I would check out X, links in the description. I would check out X. I would see what people are talking about on there. Maybe check some online publications, Reddit, some other, social bookmarking site, etc. But very soon here, we will have these digital assistants, whether we get somebody else's that somebody else has built or we build our own, that will do those on our behalf. They will go to the sites. They will go to Twitter and Reddit and Google, etc. And they will parse all that data. They'll cut out the ads. They'll cut out the outrage stuff that we're supposed to click on, whatever. Like, I don't know about you, every once in a while, I'll look at this, what's happening. I don't want to see this, honestly, because half the time it's like, I don't know what that thing's going to be about, but I'm sure I don't want to hear those people talk, Now, instead of that, we're going to have GPTs that are going to be able to read that stuff, give us an executive summary. They're going to be able to listen, transcribe videos. They will be able to speak even, paint, create images, think, use existing computing tools. Like, let's say you wanted all the information saved to an Excel file. That's pretty easy now. They will become experts in focus areas. GPTs can store that data that they can use later to reference stuff. So yeah, they can become like, if you're building a GPT to run your X account for you, if you're able to figure out how to save that data correctly so that it's useful for that GPT, over time, it will get better at doing it. So Andrej uses this word layer of abstraction, which I think is a great word to kind of visualize what he's talking about. eventually I'm sure somebody will figure out like an easier way to describe that, because I think for most people that's a little bit like, what? Primordial layer of abstraction. But the point is how important people like in Hollywood or whatever, they'll be like, all right, have your people call my people. My agent will call your agent, right? Now, most people will be that. But instead of a movie agent or whatever, or your people, you're going to have your agents, your AI agents, your GPTs that interact with the digital world on your behalf. I get tons of spam calls. Somewhere, somehow, my phone number got out there. So I'm getting spam 24 hours a day. So I have that Google Assistant where this voice picks up the phone. He's like, hello, I'm answering his phone. So can you just tell me in a few words why you're calling? And then I get to hear that played back. And it's interesting how people interact with that, because they're like, what, are you a real person? And the thing is like, just tell me why you're calling and I'll help you out. But it saves me from massive amounts of spam calls. It is this layer of abstraction between me and this massive wave. If you've seen that Matrix 3 or whatever, where all the robots are trying to get in and they're all like shooting them back. They're trying to protect their little city from the various agents that are trying to get in. All the tech companies got really good at bombarding us with more and more information, more email, more text, more calls, more ads, more cookies. And what's interesting about this is like our defense that we're able to create. We're able to create this layer that just filters all that noise and just gives us what we need, what we want. And we're able to train it to be better at that. One last interesting point. So Ethan Mollick, we talked about him in a previous video. So he's, I guess, a professor at Wharton studying AI, innovation, and startups. He's got a Substack called One Useful Thing. Some great knowledge bombs appear there every once in a while. Great person to kind of keep on your radar. But so what he's saying is a fundamental thing about LLMs that will impact the value of a future GPT app store. It is almost always possible to get the AI to tell you its prompt and instructions. So a prompt is not a moat. So he's saying that, if you build the world's greatest GPT, somebody else will just be able to replicate it by asking it, hey, so what's your prompt? Get that prompt and replicate it. That's the thing that he's saying, which is interesting. I think a lot of people kind of had that in their mind. Like, what's the moat? What prevents other people from creating the same thing? So this person responds, the moat is going to be in custom actions. So API endpoints where you can completely hide the underlying code and the information you upload to it for the memory system, for the RAG, the retrieval augmented generation, which will likely be difficult to completely for somebody to be able to extract from it. One crazy thing about X/Twitter is that you can be having a conversation with somebody one-on-one and since it's visible to everybody, you have some like random person appear out of nowhere and just join your conversation. Like I've had that happen where I'm following some chain of people that I know that I followed, and Elon Musk jumps in. He's like, actually, you're like, whoa, where did you come from? But I think here kind of the same thing happened. Let me see if I can find it. In that chain, I couldn't find the original chain, but here's Andrej Karpathy's thing. So he jumps in there. For those that don't know, he's kind of a big deal at OpenAI. He is one of the people that are working on these agents, this autonomous AI thing that they're trying to build. So he's responding to this, saying, and eventually fine-tunes will be a big one too, a big moat, a big protection against other people copying your GPTs, and the data generating process backing them, and how that interacts with the RAG, with the memory retrieval system, and custom instructions and the prompt. There is enough here to build a moat, in my opinion. So he's saying that GPTs will be multimodal. Modal, you get it? No, okay. But he's saying that there will be things that will make your GPTs unique and strong, and it will allow them to sort of build power and improve their abilities over time. So we'll see specifically what that means as far as like custom instructions and prompt. But this to me is where he nails it. Obviously, he knows exactly where this whole thing is going, but he's saying in the data generating process backing them. So that plus the fine tunes of those specific models, I think will be huge. Because again, so think about, if you have a thing that optimizes your X posts, your tweets, like we talked about yesterday, I think the key will be to have it save everything it does into some sort of system that later it's able to reference. It's like, okay, this works, this worked. Here's things that work better. Here are things that worked worse. And over time, it keeps adding not only its attempts, its split tests, its A/B tests, but also how well they worked, any sort of reflections that it came up with. And so that ability to save data and then gain more and more insights from that data will over time improve that GPT. The more people you have using it, I'm not sure if everybody's going to be sharing the same sort of data files or not. We'll see how that works. But I understand what Ethan Mollick is saying in that there might not be a strong moat. I mean, certainly that's a fear, But again, I tend to trust this guy based on everything that he's been saying. I've seen him appear at various hackathons in the Bay Area. He's not BSing around. I feel like he does truly want to help people to do this. And so when he says, hey, like there's going to be enough here to build a moat on, I tend to believe it. So back to Nick Dobos. So he walks through some of the GPTs that he's created. So he's really focused a lot on to-do lists. And the cool thing that he's using is he's using the WASD keys to control the process. So little shortcut keys that allow him to quickly go through the stuff, he was the first person I've seen that does that. And it's phenomenal. It's great. So I'll link this down in the comments below, his thing, because he's got a couple cool GPTs here that he's built that are, since he's got early access to it, you can actually see.
I just wanted to show you.
You can see what you can create with it. So here's somebody that kind of really gets the stuff and loves experimenting with his stuff and tends to be a little bit ahead of the curve in releasing some of the stuff. So for example, one of them is he makes DALL-E 3 create little GIFs for him. So basically he's asking it to create, like, for example, a cute kitty. And what it does is he has it set up to create it in a grid that he can then turn into a moving GIF, aka GIF. And so here it is. It looks like the cuts were wrong, but there are ways to fix that. But the point is creating little GIFs like this, and just by using a custom GPT, it sounds like a pretty cool idea. Anyways, that's it for me. What do you guys think? Was this impressive? Are you excited? I personally can't wait to get my hands on and start building stuff with it. On this channel, we're going to be building these things live. I'll show you how to do it. We're going to be looking at how to sell them on the App Store. We'll be looking at what everyone else is doing. This is going to be occupying a lot of our time for the next year or so. So make sure you subscribe. I think this is going to be a huge opportunity for definitely the next year and potentially after that, depending on what they release at their next developer day, because that could be autonomous agents, kind of like the next step forward. That's just speculation. We'll see when we get there. But right now, I think this is the next big thing. So subscribe so you don't miss out. My name is Wes Roth, and thank you for watching.